Hello chaps and chapettes, how's it going? Carl Screezilla here and I hope you're all well and welcome to a little bit of a history video. Today we're going to be focusing a little bit on HMS Trident, a T-class submarine of the Royal Navy back in the Second World War, commissioned in 1938, was it 39? It was between those 2 years, built in 37. Trident had an interesting little career, not a huge one, but an interesting one, and a rather special little Christmas bonus to her. When the United Kingdom and the USSR, or Russia, or Soviet Union, decided to broker an alliance, Trident was one of the ships to sail over to Russia. When she sailed over to Pollyanna in northern Russia, up near Murmansk, she received a interesting gift. The commander, Geoffrey Sladen, was talking to one of the Russian generals who arrived on a sled being pulled by reindeer. He jokingly said, "My wife could use one of these when we're walking around London when it's icy." The Russian general smiled and said, "Here you go," giving the commander a baby reindeer, of all things. Now, on a ship, this probably wouldn't have been too much of a hassle. However, submarines are not known for their space, room, and accommodation to reindeers. The reindeer, named Pollyanna, was loaded onto HMS Trident via the torpedo loading bay and soon settled in on board. Petty Officer James Riddick was the officer assigned to looking after the little reindeer and would soon get the nickname of Zoo Attendant. Loading her onto the ship, she was given a barrel of moss to get her back to England. Now, unfortunately, 1941 was a little bit of a rough time in the Atlantic and for submarines in general. So, on her way back home, she had to go on patrol off the coast of Norway with a reindeer on board. All in all, rather than a couple of weeks' voyage back to Blighty, the reindeer spent 6 months on board the submarine. During this time, some important targets crept up, such as the German cruisers Prince Eugen and the Admiral Scheer. In early February of 1942, Trident fired 7 torpedoes against the 2 ships, hitting Prince Eugen in the stern, jamming her rudder and causing her to need to get some repairs. Admiral Scheer escaped unscathed. Now, this is possibly the only case of a reindeer-guided ship scoring a torpedo hit on another ship. When they were at sea, Pollyanna found comfort with the crew. She would often sleep with the officers, and often actually sleeping underneath the commander's bed. However, being on board for such a long time, she ended up eating her way through all of the moss very quickly. She decided she was going to eat the table scraps of the men, and got rather accommodated to condensed milk, often drinking it with her crew buddies. One of the cute things about Pollyanna is she used to settle down on all 4 on her front legs and basically get into a braced position whenever the ship used to dive. Whenever the bells would appear, she would always kneel down, and this continued well after her time after leaving the boat. Finally getting back to England, the crew tried to unload Pollyanna. Now, this was difficult because a young reindeer tends to grow, unfortunately. They had to actually get a little bit of help from one of the local slaughtermen to hook the reindeer up via a set of pulleys and trusses to securely hoist her out. Unfortunately, she had grown to the extent that she could no longer be removed via the service door for the torpedo tubes and had to be hoisted out through the conning tower. Now, there are a few different accounts of how this was done. One of the most comical ones I can find is she was basically hoisted out lengthways through the conning tower, which would have been an incredible sight to see. She was handed over to the London Zoo, Regent Park Zoo in London, after she had finished her service with the Royal Navy. She stayed there up until 1947, when she unfortunately passed away due to unrelated medical conditions, possibly age. I'm not sure how long reindeers are meant to live. She passed away the same day as same week, sorry, as HMS Trident was set off to be broken up. And that is the little story of the reindeer that lived on a submarine in World War II. Okay guys, well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little video. Just a short one today. Just a little interesting story, really. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all again soon. Have a lovely Christmas. Bye-bye.